Rev up your engines! Now today we got an oddball Nissan. You can see the check engine lights on, but it's more than that. Engine malfunction, power reduced, service now, and all the lights come on. So, well, when it does that, it means there's something funky going on in the ECM system. Something in the engine control management, so let's get out my big scan tool. Well, I decided to use the smaller scan tool today because I'm trying this new one out. Instead of a super expensive one, it's less than 1/10 the cost of the other one. It's got the VIN, knows it's an Altima, and we'll do a scan. It's a typical Nissan. It's got quite a few trouble codes. They're not the greatest built vehicles, but we don't care about the audio, video. We don't care about the tire pressure monitoring system. We don't care about the laser radar system. We care about why it's running weird. Realize these Nissans, as they age, they often have many problems. In this case, even though the vehicle's only got 57,000 miles on it, and it's 4 years old. Picking up more ones, intelligent cruise control faults. As you can see here, got all these red problems. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But we really don't care about a bunch of those things. She's worried about is it runs weird and it says reduced power. So we're going to go to the ECM system, and we have these 3 codes. Okay, now I've worked on enough of these to know when you have these 3 codes, you ignore the top code because it's a communication failure code, and you have to fix either the U1001 or the P0404. And as you can see here, not only does the ECM have a problem with the CAN communication circuit, but so does the ABS system, has the same code on it. As does the body control system. As does the laser radar. So it's got a communication failure here. There we go again, intelligent cruise control. It's got the same electrical malfunction. So somewhere in this system, the communication, the CAN, the control area network, there is an electrical problem. It could be in the modules. It could be in the wiring. It could be all kinds of things. You can see it's tripping all down the line. The problem with the control area network is you have copper lines that have high-speed data, mid-speed data, and low-speed data. Any of those can trip these codes. It is a rat's nest. Get the big boy out for this one, because we're going to have to check through the entire computer system. This Autel, the Maxis Ultra, and here we go. Detect the vehicle. We'll do standalone diagnosis. We know it's North America. We're not in Israel here. See, we can do a topology. You really need a topology for this, so you can see what systems are really being affected by this communications failure. And so we can see it is a rat's nest. All the different systems, there's problems in different ones. This isn't going to be a simple fix. It would have been great if it was just on this one side, then we would have known it was either the tire pressure monitoring, the ABS, interacting with the ECM, but look, each particular system has stuff going on with it. This is going to be a rat's nest. Here we got all these codes, right? If, let's say, the EGR system is shorting out, it could short out the whole thing. Now, with the EGR, what we want to do is an active test. We will go to EGR control valve, EGR valve position, and we can see as we make it go up, the engine starts stumbling, it opens up more. So let's make it go down. It goes down, now it's at 0. And you see the current status is 0. Let's go up again. It shows it's opening and closing like it's supposed to. 0. It's working like it's supposed to. Now we're gonna look at live data for the system. Hopefully we'll see some red data here. But unfortunately, so far at least, we don't. So with the worst case scenario, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick erase. We're gonna erase everything. Then we're gonna take it for a road test. Hopefully something will pop up sooner than later. We can analyze that. It's erased them all. Now we're going to take it for a road test. If you ever want to find out what's wrong, take it on a good road test, at least half an hour. Go fast, go slow. We're going to take it to our little drag strip and really press it. Put it under load and see if we can get a code to trip up. Because as soon as the first code trips up, if that check engine light comes on, we're going to look at the data. Check engine lights to come on, see if anything acts up. Of course, you know it's afraid of me once a mechanic's in the car. A lot of times these cars, they clam right up. They don't want to act up when I'm in the car. The Tennessee logs, look at those things. Look behind us. Nobody's behind us, though. Here we go. Not that much acceleration. It's the CVT transmission. I don't like them. So we'll go down the road a ways. And of course, you know, the stupid thing wouldn't act up when I'm driving it. I'll just keep flooring it, take my foot off, flooring it again. Just keep loading this thing up and down. Hopefully, we can get something to trip. We'll wiggle the car too. Now here's another trick we can do. Sometimes it takes a few trips or check engine light trips. So we'll just come to a stop. We'll turn the stupid thing off for a while. Then when we start up again, it thinks it's another trip. We'll open the door, close the door. Here we go again. Makes a lot of noise. I don't like these CVTs. Too much slippage to me. They make too much noise. I don't like them. And especially this. This is a Jatco CVT, one of the worst ever made. So let's put on the cruise control. Kind of crappy setup. Turn that on, see if that does anything. Really flimsy cruise control, I do have to say. The Toyota systems are much better set up. Cheap little buttons, they're hard to push. They're not very comfortable. Well, still not check engine light, so we'll turn it off again, start her up again. Scan the whole thing and see if anything comes up. Seen this come up. Doesn't that figure? Now we know it's having a communication failure because that's what the code is for, but it's not tripping up now. So we're kind of at a quandary here. Now I'm going to check the battery just to see, because it has been cold lately. Today it's warming up. If the battery's going out and it's cold, you can lose all kinds of communication, get communication codes, because there's not enough power to send power to everything so it can communicate. So we got it hooked up, 12 volt battery capacity. It's a standard. And how many code crankings is it? 680. We'll get that up to 680. There we go. And we'll check it out. Nothing wrong with the battery. Got 875 and it's only rated for 6. It's a great battery. There's nothing wrong with the battery. You can see it's been changed recently. So rather than spending hours on a wild goose chase, they said this problem occurred a few months ago. It went away, and now it came back. It may take months for it to trip it out again. Who knows? I'll take it out to lunch. Hopefully it'll act up between now and then when I eat lunch and come back. Now, before we drive it all the way to Hades and back, I'm going to start it up. And I'm going to start wiggling all the wiring, a wiggle test. You never know. If something's loose, all the computer wiring here, we'll wiggle them. Go see if any lights come on. Well, not yet, other than it says no key detected. So I'll throw that back in there and then that'll shut up. Various sensors. Maybe something's loose in there. Because it did have a code for one of these sensors. You can see this one's dirty, so we'll clean it off. So we'll go back to wiggling. Wiggle all these. Scan it again, see if anything is picked up in and out of gear. Maybe something's going on in there, who knows? But nothing's popping up. So back on the road we go. I find it fascinating that none of those codes came back. The tire pressure monitor system, all that stuff, none of them have come back. So there's some kind of communication failure, either in a computer system or in a wiring. It's not obliging at all. It's running perfectly fine. None of the codes are repopping yet. Of course, it's acting perfectly fine now. What I'm thinking is there definitely be something in the ECM, the electronic control module, because the only real commonality between stuff like the EGR valve and cruise control is that they're all eventually operated by the ECM, the main electronic control module. That's about the only commonality that there is. All these different systems had all these codes, and the really only commonality between them all is the ECM. And ECMs, being electronic control module computers, problems with them can come and go with the wind. It's even the fact that I have my computer hooked up to this computer could make it wacky. I'm going to disconnect and we're going to drive. Maybe that'll help trip the code, not being connected to another computer. Because a lot of times when you connect another computer, they go in diagnostic modes and then they won't trip codes until you unplug the other computer. That's how weird these things can be. Here's my all data system. I'm going to see if there's any known problems with the ECMs on these things. And we'll look up the TSBs and recalls. Some information here. DTC P0404 stored in the ECM as temperatures below 32 degrees. And it basically says that the trouble code can be from a discharged battery when it's below 32. It was cold before. Now it's not cold. Now, as I told you before, I'm not a fan of Nissan 2023, this late one. Watch this. Here we go. Watch all these TSBs. Look at this. This is not that old of a car, right? It's 4 years old. Look at all the crap that goes on with these things. One of the possible fixes for this problem is to reprogram the ECM. Might not have to be replaced. Perhaps it could be reprogrammed. Well, the all data certainly came in handy. Now, if I drive around the rest of the day and this stupid thing doesn't trip any codes, I'm going to tell them to take it to the dealer, see if there's any reprogramming software, and start there. It could be that cold weather, it has to be reprogrammed for that, or it's going to lose communications, do all that squirrely stuff, because it was colder this morning. When she brought it over, she said it was acting up. Well, I saw it was well below 32 degrees this morning, and here, now it's 57, it's not acting up at all. Now we've been driving a couple hours, And it's 60 degrees out now, and it hasn't acted up at all. No check engine lights, no codes, no nothing. All those codes, seemingly unrelated. The only commonality is they're all eventually controlled by the ECM, the main computer, and there was a TSP for when it's below 32 degrees. Maybe reprogramming this thing will fix it, right? If not, odds are it's going to need a new computer, and they cost a fortune. But since it was below 32 when she was running it and had problems, and now it's 61 out in the sunshine, it's going to get even hotter, it didn't act up at all. So it could easily be either the software has the wrong software when it's cold and it screws things up, or often happens in Nissans because they're not made all that well, the main computer could have a problem, and that it's internally having problems when it gets too cold outside. Because let's face the facts. Let me go under the hood. This is a bad design. Why would you have the main computer here? When it's cold outside, it gets really cold, and when you run in the car, it gets really hot. This computer is going to get extremes of heat and cold. Well, Silica has the computer inside the car where the atmosphere is much better. Computer right here next to the battery, next to the engine. It's just plain stupid. You know, for various reasons, I'm not a fan of Nissan. Hey, let's hope they can reprogram it for free and that fixes it, because if not, odds are it's going to need a brand new ECM, and that's a very expensive endeavor. It's got to be reprogrammed, not a cheap fix. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.